It's October. It's Denver, Colorado. It's the residential real estate market, and it is a buyer's market. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the statistics say. I don't care what the stodgy old National Association of Realtors definition of a buyer's market is. It is a buyer's market, and I'm here to show you why. So let's first take a look, as we always do each month, at the statistics. And these, again, are always published within this blog. There's a link to the complete report. It's several pages, but I like to focus on the most important stuff, which is the summary page. So first of all, first reason it's a buyer's market, there are a lot more listings to choose from. So look at this. We've almost doubled the inventory from this time last year. How is that not a great opportunity for buyers? And I'll get to that. I've prepared a special other chart for this month's review that I will share with you after I go over the statistics. But that's a big deal. We've been hovering less than 4,000 listings for a very long time. Closed homes, they're down versus last year. It's almost a third. Look at this, down 27, 28% versus last year, and down 8% month over month, 8.5% month over month. Now, the average price, I have to address this. I can't just gloss over it. In my opinion, this is an anomaly. I've talked to a lot of folks here in the market, and we simply can't explain why, when sales are down and inventory's up, that prices inched up a little bit. The year over year numbers, because it was so extreme in the fourth quarter last year, but leading up to the fourth quarter, it wasn't. So we'll see how that develops year over year through the rest of this year. But the month over month is really hard to explain. This is average price, but you can see the median is about flat. So it is a flattening trend. It's been down since April. Last month it was down about 10% since April. This month it's down more like 8% since April. But it's still down. The point is, we're still on a downward trend from the peak, which was back in April. So again, indicating buyer's market. Then we talked about the pricing, but here's another really important number. It's taking twice as long for homes to sell. So the average time between listing to contract, meaning a sale or at least a pending, is 26 days. This is twice as long as it was last year and about a third longer than it was the month before. Now, what's interesting about this, and there's no statistics here in this report for this, but anecdotally, what about the properties that haven't gone under contract? So this number is just the properties that have gone under contract, and they've done so in 26 days. But most properties are not going under contract, at least half of them. If half of the inventory is sold, that means at least half of the properties are longer than 26 days. So we'll see what that looks like next month and through the rest of the year, but that is certainly a growing trend. So we've got more homes taking longer to sell at lower prices. That's a buyer's market. So those numbers, again, are available. If you want to click on the link, you can see all the charts, but I also like to go to this chart real quick, because this one does show the declining trend since the peak in April. So here's April, and you can see that this is our peak right here, both average and median. And since then, we are still down significantly. Again, it's more like 8%, but in last month it was like 10%. So it popped up slightly, but again, that's a declining trend for sure. So let me bring in this other chart I want to share with you. This, again, is about it being a buyer's market. So let me slide this over here. And I put this together as I was preparing this month's video, because I think it's important to look at the pros and cons, because certainly we're getting a lot of feedback about higher interest rates. But that's the only con, if you will, that I can come up with. I can't see any other reason slowing buyers down. And by the way, they're not that high. They're in still the sixes, whereas the last 50 years average is about 8%. So talk to your lender, or if you'd like to get connected with one, I can help you with that, because there's lots of other programs that are now available. Because of the slowing market, buyers have more choices when it comes to loan products, because you don't necessarily have to compete against cash offers on every listing. So yeah, it's a con, but it's not a big one, quite honestly. Homes are still affordable. It's still a great way to build wealth over the long term. But let's talk about the pros. All right. I've got a very specific list, and these are specific pros for today. Yeah, building wealth is always the long term objective, and everyone will tell you that most of the wealth in our country has been built from real estate. So I'm not going to dwell on that. You can find that information all over the internet. But here's, as a local real estate agent selling homes here for over 20 years, what I see as the pros for you as a buyer. So there's more choices. And as you saw in the last chart, a lot more choices, like double the choices. And you have time to think about it. So you have twice as many listings taking twice as long to sell. That is huge when it comes to being a buyer and taking the pressure out of it. So more homes to choose from, taking longer to sell, means you have no pressure, no to low pressure in making a decision. We'll take you shopping. You want to see lots of homes, you want to see them over weeks spread out, that's fine. You can do that now. You don't have to make a decision overnight. Negotiate below asking price. That's right. I'll even guarantee it. That's in another video I've made recently, but I will guarantee that you don't have to pay asking price on a listing you want to buy right now. Get the seller to pay your closing costs. This is a huge benefit to buyers, because this can cost you $5,000-$6,000 as a buyer, maybe even more, and you can get the seller to pay those. I'll help you do that. Sellers will take contingent offers right now. And what that means is, by contingent, of course, there's all the regular contingencies, like the process to get the loan closed and all that. But what I mean by this is, if you have a home to sell, if you want to trade up or downsize, you can now make an offer contingent on your existing home selling first. In other words, if you need the cash from the existing home in order to purchase the replacement home, we can still get you under contract on the replacement home, such that you can relax, sell your home, and then conclude the purchase of the replacement home with the proceeds from the existing property. That's a huge change in our market, where that was non-existent up till just a couple of short months ago. Get sellers to give you concessions. So concessions aren't just closing costs. Closing costs we talked about a minute ago. Concessions are cash for you to use at closing any way you want. Sure, there's a list of ones that are allowed. I'll be happy to go over those with you, show you how that works, so you don't come out of pocket with very much or any cash at closing. Get sellers to make repairs before closing. Yes. It sounds like common sense, right? But the past 2.5, 3 years, it wasn't happening. Buyers were making offers on properties without any inspection contingencies. They were taking properties with equipment and systems that didn't even work, just so they could get the house and beat out other buyers. Do not do that. Whether you're using me, my team, or anybody else, you don't want to buy a house without inspections and having the seller make repairs, and we can negotiate that for you. Negotiate appraisals. Do not overpay for a house. Similar to waiving inspections, buyers were going crazy to waive appraisals and pay the difference between the purchase price and the appraisal price. Do not do that right now. We'll negotiate that for you. If you get under contract on a property and it appraises for less than what you are under contract for, we will negotiate that or leave and go find another house. It's that simple. Do not give up your appraisal rights. Beat out cash buyers. This is huge. Cash is not necessarily the king that it was the last 2 to 3 years. You can beat out cash buyers with better offers on financed purchases. Again, I can show you how to do that. We have a strategy in place for you. Get sellers to give you a home warranty. This is akin to waiving inspections before, but now not only can you get your inspections and repairs made, we will get the seller to purchase a home warranty for you. Or you know what? If the seller won't do it, I'll do it for you. Make sure you're protected for at least 1 year for all the systems and equipment in the house in case it fails, because things happen after closing. It's just home ownership and, coincidence, but be protected. Get a home warranty. And then get cash at closing for repairs and upgrades. I have a special exclusive program that I'm happy to share with you where even if you're an FHA buyer, if you have to get an FHA loan, we can get up to $30,000 cash at closing put in your account so that you can make those repairs after closing and build sweat equity. Add your own elbow grease to the property and make it worth more than you paid and a better place for you and your family. So with that, I'm Sam Wilson with the Sam Wilson Home Selling Team, and all my contact information is always right around the frame here in the video. You've got my blog to look at. You're on my website, or get to my website. There are so many programs available right now. The rising interest rates have created a buyer's market. Yeah, interest rates are a little bit higher. Again, I pointed out at the beginning of this that yes, it is certainly the only downside right now is a higher interest rate, but they're still better than ever in history. Well, not ever, but better than historical averages. And it's created all of these other advantages for you. So build wealth, call us today. It's always free. There's never any obligation to go out and purchase a home. We're just here to help educate, help you learn the market, and make a good decision, an informed decision about moving forward to buy. Finally, yes, this was all about buyers today. I went all in on the market update being about a buyer's market, but it is still a good time to sell because of all these reasons. There's more buyers looking for your home, and the fourth quarter is great because a lot of agents tell their sellers to wait till the spring. But right now, buyers with these benefits, they're out looking for homes now. Most people in Denver looking for a home from November to January. They need a home. They're more motivated. And if you're available to them, you have a higher likelihood of selling fast and for top dollar. So call, text, click, email me today. I'm Sam Wilson with the Sam Wilson Home Selling Team, and we're here to help.